Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. I'm Matt and this is Augie, my corgi. This is a channel where I talk about whatever I want, mostly about cross stitch and that kind of stuff. Also, I do some book talk and this one will have some of that as well. Today is Friday, March 19th, 2021, and this is episode number 21 of Flosstube, I think. And we, it's been about 3 weeks since the last time I did a video, and I've got stitching to show, no finishes, but I have done some. I got to some goals at least, so we've got that. I've got some haul, including some stuff from Needlework Expo, and then I've got some book talk. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and get on into it. First of all, I am participating in WIPGO 2021. As the months have gone on, now we're in the third month of this challenge, I have adjusted my goals because last month I had worked on my Forests of Sumatra project, which one of my goals, my initial goal on that was to finish 3 pages, and I barely had anything started, so that took pretty much the month of February, and I worked on some other things, but that was the biggest thing that I worked on the most. And I really enjoyed that, and I still actually, I've worked on that some a little bit, so you're going to see it again. But it's not, I wanted to adjust my goals overall because I don't want to spend my whole month doing those things. Part of why I wanted to do WIPGO is to get more progress on the projects that I want to kind of work on for the year and get some things going, but I don't want to not be able to start new things or work on something else if I decide I want to do that. So I'm trying to find that balance, and I didn't really have that from when my lofty initial goals. So this month I had 2 goals, 2 projects to work on. The ink circles, another ink circles project, which was the dragons, elemental dragons, earth. And initially my goal was to finish it. I did not, I changed that goal. Then I changed it to get halfway done. And I did that. I did that pretty good. And so I am stitching this on 40 count Verdal, which is a Zweigart even weave, and then the colorway is Earth from Be Stitch Me. As you can see, the pattern, I don't have it with me, but it's a mandala where it like repeats in all 4 corners, it's just like reflected all the way around. And so I did the center, I had the center done, I finished out the dragons down here, and then finished up these. And then I got part of this, I don't know what you would call that, midpoint line with the little extra things. I got to there and I finished my thread, and I didn't want to pull out another one just to finish it. So since this is more than actually half of the pattern, since I have all of this stuff down here done, I just called it good, and this is where I got to. So I stitched, the floss that I'm using is Weeks Dye Work Foliage, which is a nice green to brown variegated thread. Oh, you're very sheddy right now. Sorry. If you've not had a corgi, they shed a lot, some more than others. I have, my boyfriend has 2 corgis, and I don't know if there's some like exponential pattern when you have more than one, but they shed way more than Augie does. but he still like produces another corgi worth of hair regularly. So pardon me, but Weeks Dye Works foliage. The floss that I'm using is that. I changed up the sentence there. I have enough that I'm going to finish it, but I did get an extra skein at one point, and the skein is of a different, that one is a different dye lot, and so the one that I'm using, the green is a little bit more of a sage green than like a bright green. The other one that I have kind of goes to that bright element of green, and that's not what I was using, so I'm not planning to use it. I think I'll get into a second skein. Yes, I am. I bought another one. No, wait. I don't know. I'm doing pretty good. So I know that I'm going to have plenty of floss for what I'm doing, but I wanted to, kind of get a better, just in case you're looking for it, I think you should know that there is some that's a little bit more on the sage side and some that's a little brighter on the green side. But I love it. I love the way it's working. The way the variegation is coming through as it's being stitched. I'm using 1 thread over 2 on the 40 count, and I think it's just really great coverage. So it's really good. And anyway, okay, so my other goal for this month is Deco Spirits Air, which is from Mirabilia. This is a project, it's not like really any other Mirabilia that I've seen. There's no beads on it. There is a good amount of metallic. It's charted in Krynic, and I have switched it to Petite Treasure Braid. And so, okay, this is, you can't really see that. This is really tiny. This is the pattern. There are each of the elements, and then there's an Art Deco themed looking image for each one of them. So there's fire, earth, water, air, and fire, earth, air, and water. Yeah, that's all 4. Sorry. I'm stitching all 4 of them individually. You can stitch them all together the way they're charted, or you can break it up, and the chart includes like the midpoints for each of them if you're going to do that. And so that's the way I did it, and I started with air. And here is where I got to with her. So my goal is to get halfway done, and the midpoint of it is right here, and I'm essentially going to be doing this half. I may do a little bit more. I've already got some other stuff done around her beyond the midpoint, but yeah, this is all treasure braid. There is one where it is like a mix of DMC and then the metallic. And then there is going to be some back stitching, but I'm not going to do that until I get all of the stitching done. This is the top, so I have made it from the bottom to the top, and then I'm essentially going this way. This is on 32 count white Lugana, 2/2. Okay, metallic. So I've used Krynic a little bit, and then I have barely and didn't finish using the DMC Light Effects the one time I've tried to use it. And then I have used Treasure Braid on a few things, and I enjoy using that. And also my LNS does not carry Krynic. They have a few bits and bobs, and I think you can order stuff, but they generally carry Treasure Braid as the metallic that you can get there. So when I went to go get the stuff for it, I got the Petite Treasure Braid using their conversion Rainbow Gallery's website. If I was going to do this again, I would get the Krynic. and the only reason, not because I really enjoy working with the treasure braid, but it is, so the metallic threads come in different weights, but it's like, you know, a thicker thread. So Petite treasure braid is equivalent to the Krynic 8, I think, yeah. And so generally on over 2 on 32 count, you would use 1 strand of floss. I didn't know that, and I started it with 2. But also there is a blend on this, which with the treasure braid kind of overpowers it more than it should, I think. So that's the only reason why I would switch to Krynic. And it may just be, there's actually just one color that I would do as the Krynic. But I didn't do that. So, and I didn't want to reorder it. And it looks fine, but if I was going to do it again, I would change it up. But I mean, I still really enjoy it, and I'm not going, it's not stopping me from doing it. It's really pretty. She is, I did also switch out the DMC for the Etoile DMC, so there's a little bit of sparkle more on her. In general, at first I used to think that the DMC Etoile was a little bit better at coverage on the black, on the 310. And it still may be a little bit better, but I think also with the sparkle, when you have a little white speck show up behind it, that kind of blends in more with the sparkle than actually like coverage of the fabric. So that's just my 2 cents, and that's with me using it the way I stitch and the way my stitches lay. I'm not saying other people won't find something different. That just seems to be what I am seeing in my own work. So yeah, I am closing in on being done with that goal this weekend. I should be. I'm taking it with me when I go to out of town tomorrow, and yeah, I don't know that I'll finish it while I'm gone, but I don't think I'm going to take anything else. So that's pretty much that one. Okay, now Dark Queen of the Sea. This is a stitch-along from Autumn Lane Stitchery. Augie, I think it's time. No? Come on, okay. No, you don't think it's time, you just want to be awkward. Okay, no, let's go, come on. Okay, good boy. All right, so this is Autumn Lane Stitchery's year-long stitch-along that started in September, and one part gets dropped every month, and then we will get a new one up until through August, and then we'll be done. Essentially, we've got the the top half done, and then the next month we're going to be going down below. This month has been a little different. We got the coral horns, antlers, whatever you want to call them, the crown, and then these corner things. I did, the coral is as it's originally charted. I changed up the crown. There's 2 different colors of treasure braid gold that come with it. I switched mine to the Vatican gold, which is kind of more of like a white gold. As you can see, it's not like a bright yellow gold. It's more that. And then I switched up, I used the light blue that also is used in the pattern as kind of the gems there. And then I backstitched it in one of the blues from her hair instead of in black. I really like it. I like silver more than I like gold in a lot of things. So I switched it, and I was really happy with that. And also with her face, the colors that I've picked, I think it makes sense. These corner things. I started doing it, as you can see, and then I was like, I'm not so sure about this. So I'm not calling this done for the month, but I am pausing it because I'm not working on it anymore until we get more of the pattern and I can see kind of what it's going to look like. I saw, actually, Kate Stitchy Aardvark. You should go follow her on Instagram. She's great. And she is surprised by how many people already follow her. So you should go add yourself to that list to, you know, make her even more surprised. But she... Oh. I just realized I forgot some stuff. Yes. She sent me an image of somebody else in the Facebook group has redone these as like Manta Rays. And I really like that. I don't know that I'll keep the yellow. I may change the color. But that's the kind of... I think that may be the direction I'm going with it. I just want to see more of what's down here, and that may make it more cohesive for me, or maybe what I want to do with it. So there's that. Also, you might notice this new... It's kind of hard to see them. There's this new needle minder I have here. This is this copper-looking octopus, and I got this along with another one that you'll see in my haul from Catherine, Paper Crane Stitches, on Etsy. She has patterns, she's great, and she started doing needle minders, and I really like some of hers. So I got this one and another one that I'll show a little bit later. But I got this one specifically to put on here with the queen because it's an octopus in the sea and all that. So that's where we go. Yeah. So I'm not counting this as being finished for the month, even though I am done for now. I will count it as a finish when I do decide what I'm doing with the corners and whatever I'm going to do with them. So, and if I decide to just take it out, well, when I frog this, I will be done. But that's pretty much that. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, that's the extra. Okay, this next project is one of two that I have worked on for Stitch Asia, which is a Abby Bella Stitch on Instagram. Go follow her, she's amazing, she's very, she's great. And this was one of her things that she was talking about, and this is specifically to stitch either projects by Asian designers or Asian themed projects to bring about awareness of the importance of Asian impact on our craft, and also to combat the hate that's being directed at Asian Americans and Asian people across the world in the last year, wrongly related to the spread of the COVID pandemic and everything. If you're earlier this week, there was I've heard it termed, I don't know if this is the correct term, but it seems to me it was a spree killing of 8 women in the Atlanta area. 6 of them were Asian women at Asian spas, massage parlors, in those places by a cisgender white man that clearly there is a motivation in there that is a hate crime. I won't go into the legal reasoning of why it is, but I think it doesn't really matter what he says his motivation was. It seems like there's a pattern, and there's probably other evidence that that the police can find and can use to establish that it was in fact a hate crime, at least based on gender, if not based on race. He also chose those particular establishments versus a strip club or another place that is not an Asian business. So, and he went pretty far between one place and then the other two. It was targeted. So anyway, it's horrible, it's wrong, and the police involved should get their act together and do what they need to do. There have been horrible acts of violence and attacks against Asian Americans, and it's just, it's not okay. It's just racism, and we're better than that. We can be, so we should be. Anyway, so the projects that I'm working on, I have one, the Bella Filipina pattern, Bellatrix, that I started in January, and I'm continuing to work on her. And this I started with Kate, Stitchy Aardvark, and Julie, Kansas City Girl in Colorado World. It was Julie's birthday, so I started along with her, and then Kate and I actually started it together on Virtual Stitchers that Friday night. I got a pretty good chunk done. So instead of just keep working on what I did, I kind of made my way to the bottom of the dress. I kind of counted down with half stitches and then started working, and this is where I got to. This is on a 32 count Joblin from Be Stitch Me called Baron. This was in the winter solstice box that I got from her. And then I have this cute little Grogu, the child, aka Baby Yoda needle minder that I got from Vicky Stitch and Button, who is a admin in the Virtual Stitchers group, and she also has a Facebook group where she sells her needle minders and other things, and bags and other stuff. So I did some good amount of work on Miss Bellatrix and added out more of the dress. The gaps here are for beads and crying and metallic. I did get treasure braid for it as well, but I haven't started stitching that part yet. So I've just been sticking to the DMC so far. I really love this pattern. She's really, it's not really popcorny, and the dresses in like these or the Mirabilias generally aren't. So there's quite a few colors. I mean, there's like 4 different kinds of purples that I used. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and then a black so far. I mean, there's like a pinky one, but yeah, it's really great. I really like working on it, and I'm going to continue to work on this some this month as well. And I need to show this project bag. This is from my friend Kate that I was talking about earlier, and she sent me. Can you see why? Can you see it? Can you see it? That, yeah. I love dogs anyway, but this little corgi puppy. I mean, Augie doesn't have that coloring, but it's totally cute, and I really enjoy it. I really love this. So the project that we're stitching together is, of course, what went in the bag with this. And she sent me some other fabric. I think I left that in the other room. It was some, she is an Ada OG, Ada all the way lady, and she, so she sent me some of she had some even weave and some linen, I think, maybe it was linen, or just even weave, that she had in her stash and she didn't want, so I will use it. But I don't think I put it in the box. I think it's sitting on top of something else. So that's that one. Okay, last project that I worked on is the Forest of Sumatra, ink circles, Tracy Horner. Okay, this is the project. This is what it will look like when it is done. She's a big one. Oh, I don't have the right page on the back. So it's 6 pages though. I mean, it's a big one. I'm doing this on a 36 count linen. I had to do at least 36 count or it wouldn't have fit on a fat quarter. So she's big. And I'm using the called for Sumatra Floss, which is Gloriana is the brand. It's a silk, and then Sumatra is the name of the colorway. I think they also have a deep C that's very close. You might be able to use it interchangeably. I haven't looked, but that's what I've heard. So don't complain to me if I'm wrong. So I really enjoyed working on this in February. And so I have made just like a little goal for myself every week to put a length in. And I have been doing that. So I worked a little bit more, brought this out the bottom here, and then I started working on this motif with a couple links like that. So yeah, I really do enjoy this. I'm going to continue to work on it more. Probably that like length a week, so you'll probably continue to see it each time I do a floss tube. Oh, and this is Toast, is the colorway of this fabric, which I love. It's one of my favorite colors, especially in the linen or the Aida. You get this it's really good in the even weave too, but it's a lot lighter. It's from Be Stitch Me, and I like a little bit more of the burnt toast. Is what Brandy told me when I said this is the kind of thing that I want. So it's really beautiful. I love it. And yeah. Sorry if you're hearing squeaking. Augie has decided to now destroy this toy that he has had for a week and just left it around, but now that I'm doing something, he wants to destroy his toy and get the squeakers out. As I'm sure other dog owners know. So if the squeak is happening and affecting your dogs, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stop them. Okay, so haul. I participated in the Garon Stitchery bag sale this last weekend. It's the first time I bought a bag from them. I have bought some grime guards from them, and that was actually the main reason why I was participating, because I wanted some more. I needed a few more, and I bought a couple more 11 by 11 grime guards. This is this beautiful peacock fabric that I just loved. And so I got that one. I also got a silver and red puppy paw prints as well. It's like a chocolate color. And then there's another peacocky one. I like peacocks, so yeah. Who would have thought? And let me see. Okay, it's a little. Let me see that. It's kind of like that. The peacocks. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I did buy a bag. So, and it's a peacock one. Ronnie had several different peacock ones, and I wasn't super great about reminding myself to get on at a particular time. And so some of the ones that I had originally was like, oh, I want one of those. They were gone. But I really like this one too. And I think it was the Elegant Peacock is the name of it. And this is an 11 by 18 or 12 by 18. An 11 by 11 Q-snap fits in almost, or it's a little tight. At least the one that I have with as much fabric on it, it was a little tight when I was trying it earlier. And then this is the fabric on the inside. But yeah, the other bags that I have purchased have been with the vinyl fronts, and I like that to be able to see it. But also, like, I mean, I got this as like, I know what I'm going to put in there. There's not going to be that many different things. And so, yeah, really happy with that. Super great shipping. The bag sale was last Saturday. It was here today. Other places get things quicker than here in Tulsa, unless it's like from a local thing. I don't know. I know Garrett has said that he gets things really quickly from Fire Poppies. It's usually like the Friday if I order it on a Monday, or, something like that. So that didn't surprise me. Also, post office is what it is, but it's good to support it. The other thing I got from them is I bought this Karen Water Lilies Royal Jewels. Yep, this is a floss for Bellatrix. I think. And I hadn't picked it up yet, so I bought one for her. And then I also bought 2 skeins of Classic Colorworks Cayenne, which is a great red and brown color that I really liked. I was kind of looking around for some a fancy floss for Ingleside Imaginarium's Stitch Along this year, and I want to use this one. And so, yeah, I bought 2. I may need a 3rd skein, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be... I don't know that we'll have a big problem matching those, but we'll see. And yeah, they were super fast. Got here, 5 days later, and it was great. Okay, so now we get to talk a little bit about some haul from Needlework Expo. First, I have received my order from Abby Top Knot Stitcher. Well, only 2 things are from Needlework Expo, but so I got the Ink Circles Hey Diddle, as well as the companion Slick Fiddle, which are the 2 cow patterns that are part of the Moo the Merrier set that several designers were doing. I think it was, initially it was towards Nashville market, but then since Nashville wasn't happening, several of the designers continued with it for Needlework Expo. And so this is like, they're cow themed. I just really liked this one specifically. And then it is charted in sulky, and there's a pack. I did get this from somewhere else. Oh, she was on Etsy. I didn't bring the thing. I searched it on Etsy and I found it because initially I couldn't find it where I was looking, and I didn't wait to try and do it. I just found somebody that was selling it. I got it, and I got it a lot quicker actually. This came first. This was the first thing that I got, and I got this Monday. So this is the Moo the Merrier collection of sulky petites, and these are 12 weight, and so 1 strand will equal 2 strands of DMC, so you only use 1 strand, and it comes off of a spool. So and they're 46 meters, so you get quite a bit of thread. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So those are those. I have more Moo the Merrier coming. 1 more, I think, but it has not arrived yet. I also bought, I had been eyeing this one, and it was out at Fire Poppies, and this is Hello from Liz Matthews, Quaker Snowflakes. I have been looking at this one and thought it was cute, and I wanted it. So it's not from Needlework Expo, but Abby shipped it with that. And then, okay, this is the other from Catherine at Paper Crane. This is the other needle minder that I got. You can see her lovely cards. It's this Celtic Owl. This is actually the one that I was like, I need that. She put it up on her Instagram, and I immediately went and purchased it, and then got the octopus as well, because it's like, I think there was a free shipping issue thing again. So, like I said last time, and Noah commented, we get the free shipping. But yeah, okay. I also got my monthly nest egg from Trisha at 3 Owl Threads. It was actually pretty early this month. Usually it's a little closer to the end of the month, but I guess she got the Threadworks in pretty quick. I do the 20-yard skeins of Threadworks thread, and I am going to go through what I got this month. Okay, so first up, we have 1045, which is green apples. She's green, like a green apple. 10362. may have been a typo because this is green applewood, but that's 10/3/26. So that may have been a typo, or this may be green applewood, or it's a different one. I don't know. 1060, which is green tea latte. So it's a light green. It is like a light sage green. I think it's looking a little more gray than that. But 1145, gray flamingo. Okay, I didn't know about gray flamingos, but yep. 1068, Hawaiian Flowers, which is a pretty purple and brown and yellow. Nice color. 10271, Harvest Gold. That's pretty. It's definitely on the browner side, but it is goldish. I mean, it's goldy. 10891, Fire Engine Red. And it is. Yep, it's, you know, they're just, some of the threadworks have just a little bit of variegation to them that are super saturated or super, you know, a bright color. That's one of them. And then the next one is 11,000. And it is Hawaiian Hot Pink. And it's beautiful fuchsia color. It reminds me of like one of those really pretty hibiscus flowers. 10471, Grass is Green. And that's a real pretty variegated green. Goes from a nice dark to a light green. Really like that one. And then this is 11214, Green Iron. Well, it's purple and brown. So I don't know how that's green iron, but I don't know what green iron is, if that's a thing. Anyway, yep. So those are the threadworks that I got this month. And I have just a little bit of fabric accumulation that I also need to talk about. So I purchased some fabric from Fire Poppies early this month, or I've had it for a little bit. And it's pretty much all fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics, which I have a few pieces of. I've ordered from her before, and then they have some of that. I got some Ada. I got 16 count tarnished silver. It's a nice pretty, and I got an 1/8 of this. And then I got 16 count Christmas in Williamsburg, which is also nice pretty. I love that kind of color, goldy brown. And then I got two different, it's the same colorway but in two different fabrics. And so first up I bought Anubis in 28 count Lugana. So that's what that one is. Yep. And then I also bought it in 36 count linen. Linen? What, Matt? Yes, since I've been stitching on linen on my Force of Sumatra, I've really enjoyed it, and I don't feel bad about, I feel more comfortable choosing the linen option when I need it for a particular color. Or something along those lines. I still want to do over 2 or something, and the even weave is just going to be too light. So this is what I have. I think I'm going to use this for my Keramos Bestiary. I have another color that I have picked out, and I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet, essentially. But I think that would also work well. Yeah. So, and on the 36 count, I mean, it will fit on a fat quarter of 14 or 28 count, I think. So, anyway, yeah, I'm going to do that. And that's all the stitching and accumulation of stuff this week. Next up, we have some book talk. And I just talked about books 3 weeks ago, yet I have 7 books to talk about, which is kind of a lot in 3 weeks. 5 of them are in the same series, and I really enjoyed them. I may have had one of, well, I don't know if I had it done when I talked last time, but okay, so let's see. First up, this is A Fairy of Bones and Gold, Soulbound Book 1 by Haley Turner. And this is it's an ongoing series. There are 5 books out at the present, and I have finished all 5. This is an urban fantasy romance, homo romance, guy and guy, not lesbians. It's definitely more on the there's full-on sex scenes and descriptions and everything. So if that's something you don't want to see, don't do this one. It's not just like there's a sort of story in between the sex scenes. I mean, it's not like a written porno. But it is like, I enjoyed both the bedroom time as well as, and it's not always in the bedroom, let's be honest, and also in the actual storyline of this book. The basics is, and I'll go through the other books, and I'm not going to go into like what happens in each one because it's kind of a little spoilery to the other ones, but the basic overline, well, let me show you which ones we have here. Okay, so, and then book 2 is All Souls Near and High, Soulbound Book 2, In a Crown of Iron and Silver is book 3, A Vigil in the Morning is book 4, and book 5, On the Wings of War. And okay, so this is an urban fantasy series, but it is also, let me see, how can I describe it? It's not like magic is hidden from the world. In this world, about 1/4 of the population has some ability to manipulate magic. And in the sense of spellcasters, they have different tiers and abilities and different things, but and they don't really explain everything, but there are mages, which the main character, Patrick, is a mage. And there are witches and sorcerers, I think. I'm not sure what all the different levels are, but I know that wizards are like the top, or sorry, mages are like the top. And one thing that allows them to, that allows a mage to be so at the level it is that they can access a ley line and draw on that for power instead of just manipulating their own soul for energy to power their spells. That seems to be the basic mechanics of the spells, of the magic system, is that you use your soul to do your magic. There's some differences depending on things, but and then mages are allowed, they can tap into ley lines and draw on that to do their magic in addition to their soul. Patrick is a, well, he's the main character in a romance book, so he's a little wounded. And he's a mage, but unlike most other mages, he has been injured in a prior war. This happens before the first book starts. He was serving in the military, and he was injured in what's called the 30 Days War, which happened a few years before the first book starts. Aside from magic users, there are also vampires, there are undead, other types of undead besides vampires. There are were creatures. And they have two different kinds of were creatures. There's multiple kinds of were creatures, as in like werewolves, were tigers, were lots of things. There are dragons. There are lots of different magical creatures in this world. There are demons that are summoned from the hells, and the gods and immortals exist as well. And this is like the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, the Norse gods, all of the different pantheons of belief exist, and as long as somebody still remembers them or worships them, they still stick around. They're not as powerful as they maybe once were in ancient times, but they still exist, and they're kind of like they're different. They can do magic and they can do things that are different than the way human spellcasters work. There are also fae, like the Unseelie and Seelie fae, kind of like in Dresden, but it's a little bit more. It's also blends in with the Irish pantheon of the Tuatha De Danann, but it's different. I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting. The world building is quite good, but it's not like Harry Potter or something where there's a secret magical world and then a normal non-magical world. This is like everything exists. There have been times when magic wasn't as important, but essentially it's like modern day, but there's a quarter of the population that does magic. And so, yeah. Anyway, so the 30 Days War, the big overarching problem that's going on in this world is that there are a group of people called the Dominion sect that are trying to bring about an apocalypse, and the leader of it, Ethan, wants to become a god, and he's tried to do that a couple times, notably, and this is discussed, it's not like a secret or anything, but Ethan is Patrick's father, but not like, biologically, but it doesn't seem like they had much of a relationship. And then when Patrick was pretty young, I think 8 or 12, a child, Ethan kills his mother, and then takes Patrick and his twin sister and tries to sacrifice her to kill Patrick and to turn himself into a god. He sacrifices the child of Hades, who is an immortal, but I don't know the name. I didn't recognize the name as an actual Greek god. It's a little weird because they're both like... Anyway, so some of the gods of different hells are on the side of the Dominion sect, and most of the gods of the air and heavens are against them, don't want to create another god, don't want all of this stuff, they want to stop it. They don't want the world to end. And so they're kind of manipulating things and using Patrick as a way to do that. Different pantheons have different sort of motivations for different things, but that's the general feel of what's going on here. So Patrick, Ethan was not successful when Patrick was a child. And then in the 30 Days War, the Dominion sect had tried again in Egypt, where they sacrificed Ra, the sun god, to try and turn, and Patrick and the army and everything, they stopped it from happening. But in that conflict, Patrick is injured and he no longer can tap a ley line. He's still a mage, and he still has all of his training, but he can't do his higher level spells that allows him to do all sorts of stuff that a normal mage would be able to do.
He can still do more than most other magic users, but he can't kind of get up there to that level. And then we have a second, he's more of a main character as the books go on, but he's plainly in this, is Patrick's love interest, Jonathan DeVere Noagi, who is a werewolf. He's a British werewolf and alpha, but he doesn't have a pack. And he and Patrick get kind of thrown together by the gods, and they form a relationship, and that's kind of the basis of a lot of it. So it's I really like their story. I really like the world building, the path that everything's on. Let me say it this way. I would still read it if it was just the world and not the whole, the sex and everything. But I like that too. I mean, straight people can have Game of Thrones. I mean, we can have that kind of stuff too. Not that Game of Thrones is like a romance book. This is not like Game of Thrones sex either. But yeah, I liked it. And I am very excited for more of them to come out. So there's that. And then I detoured back out of my dip into the romance world. And I picked up Blood Air by Elona Andrews. And this is this one. So this is set in this is the Kate Daniels world. A Kate Daniels World novel is the title. I don't know if it's the first one. I'm not sure. It seems like there's going to be more. So Elona Andrews is a husband and wife writing duo. And they wrote the Magic Bites series. Kate Daniels is the main character. It is a urban fantasy post-apocalyptic world, mostly set in Atlanta or Savannah or that area between the two. Kate Daniels is she starts off as a mercenary and becomes a kind of not a police officer, but she certainly is a form of law enforcement in this post-apocalyptic world. She is also she goes through a lot of different things over the course of the series. It's a long one, 13 books, I think. Anyway, this is set in the same world, and the main character is Julie, who is Kate's adopted daughter. She shows up early in the books, and you get to know her all through those books. And eventually she becomes literally a blood relation to Kate, because Kate uses her blood to treat her for something, and it changes Julie. And she has left Atlanta. She leaves Atlanta after the last book. And she learns of a prophecy to save her mother, Kate, her adopted father, Curran Lennart, and her brother. Well, it's really Kate that's the most important one. Kate and Curran have a child that is Julie thinks of as her brother. I mean, he is her brother. But, so Julie is informed of this prophecy. And part of it is Kate cannot learn about the prophecy, or Kate will charge out and she will die. There is a ancient immortal god priest thing, Moloch, which is a fire god of the ancient Canaanites, or even before that, that's involved. And so Julie is trying to stop him. So she comes back to Atlanta. Her face and her whole, she has physically changed that people don't recognize her until they like catch her doing something or something. You know, it seems like everybody is figuring out who she is except Kate. She doesn't actually show up, but it's a good book. I quite enjoyed it. It was a nice like return to that story, that world that I quite liked. So the narrator is different than the books for the Magic Bite series. And this narrator has actually done the pronunciation of some things correct according to the authors who made up the word, so they get to decide how it's pronounced. I have seen some things from reviews that are like, why can't she say this right? It's not right if it's not the way the author wanted it to be said, or, so I wasn't bothered by it. I just had to figure out what that was in the other one, because that's one of the things, I know that when I've like gone to talk to somebody about a book that I've listened to, I don't know how to spell that person's name. I mean, I know how to spell my friend's name that I'm talking to, but like, I know how to spell Kate, but Zuri in The Children of Blood and Bone, I didn't know how to spell that, or Amari, or like, there's a lot of different ways that could be spelled, and I just haven't, you don't read it, so I don't know how to spell it, so those kinds of, that's an interesting thing, but that's a little off topic. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. It was a good read, and I quite liked the little trip back to the world that was, that's the Magic Bite series. I definitely will get the next one if there's another one that comes out related to this. This was pretty new. I mean, it was a 2021 book. I just happened to be looking, and it showed up in the, like, you might like this book, or this is somebody that you've read before. Okay, and then the last book I'm going to talk about is Nightlife by Rob Thurman. This is the first in a quite long, I think there's 10 or 11 urban fantasy books. Kate Stitchy Aardvark recommended this one to me as a possible series that I might like. I like a lot of urban fantasy things. I have read a short story that's set in this world. A lot of especially the urban fantasy and fantasy writers do like novellas that appear in like a collection of short stories by different authors. One author, like, I don't know who did it, but I think Patrick Rothfuss did one, or maybe maybe it was Kevin Hearn. May have been Kevin Hearns. Anyway, one of them, one of the other series that I read, it may have been Jim Butcher. I think it was a Butcher book, or maybe, I don't remember. I bought one of them, and it was like the author was doing a collection of stuff, or one of the series that I enjoyed was in there, and so I decided to get the whole thing and listen to all of them, because I excuse me, sorry, thought, oh, I like this, I might be interested in that, so let me go ahead and pick those up. So I decided to do that here, and I quite enjoyed it. That seems not right. Oh, that's why you're off. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to explain this because it's kind of funny. I looked down at my iPad that has a picture, a screenshot on it, and the time on it says 5:47, and I'm like, I've been filming for an hour and it's still 5:47? No, Matt, that's when you took the screenshot before you started filming, because it's actually almost 7. And didn't realize that. So, okay, anyway, Nightlife, Rob Thurman. Okay, so this is a story about two boys, but not like that. This is actually two brothers. Caliban is the younger brother, and Nico is his older brother. Leandros is their last name. Nico is 100% human. Caliban is not. He usually goes by Cal. And their mother was not great and needed money, so she took a deal with these gremlin, weird demon people, and had Cal, and then the money ran out and she was still kind of a piece of work. I did this thing because Cal's supposedly younger, and he is younger, and he's still younger, I think. So he was captured by they call them Grendels, so I'll use that. The Grendels on his 14th birthday, and then was taken away to hell and gone for him was a couple years. But he doesn't remember it. But he was older and bigger, and hair was really long when he came back the next day to Nico. And then they go on the run. Their mother was dead in that attack. And they have kind of been living out, just kind of running from place to place. And they're in New York, and then they're trying to figure out if they need to leave, or if the Grendels are coming, or what's happening, or what's going on. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. The short story I read, it's been a while, but I read several of them in there, and I remember seeing this one and reading it and was like, okay, that's interesting, but it didn't really, I didn't think it was my thing. And having read the first one, I still have that feeling. There are certainly things about it I liked and I enjoyed, but for the most part, I was kind of like, what? There's a whole, I'm not going to get into who or what, but there is a character that is taken over by a changeling, thing that takes over your body, but it wasn't really different. It was different, it was evil, but it wasn't really different, and it was very weird, and I didn't really like that approach. And so I don't know, I think I'm gonna get the next one and try it at some point. It's not on my top of my list or anything, but yeah, there's a lot of battles that I've been told about. I also did see that, so the author, there's a conclusion book that was supposed to come out, and it was canceled by the publisher, as well as the author's contract. And so, although the author said she was going to self-publish it, she hasn't, and that was in 2018. So I don't know why. And the author's not on Twitter anymore. Actually she still is, but she's not active anymore. I don't know what's going on. She seems to, there's a lot of I don't know what's happening there. And I think the narrator changes from book one to after that, which I didn't really have a problem with him in the first one, but he didn't really help the stuff that I did have a problem with. So yeah, it was interesting. I think there's potential there, but I don't. It's not jumping out as, oh, I've got to read the next one. So I'm not. I am currently in the middle of the first Shadow and Bone book by Lee Bardugo. Julie, Kansas City Girl, and Colorado World had talked about that, and there's the new series coming out on Netflix, and I figured, okay, I will try that. I hadn't really heard of it, or I think I'd seen some of the newer one, the Crows 6, I don't remember the name of it, but nothing about it. I just seen it kind of around as hey, this is a thing. So I decided to pick that up, and I'm a little bit into it. Not very far, but it's so far so good or interesting. So that's the end of the book talk this time. I will probably have more to talk about the next time. Part of the reason why I have more book time is because I am driving to and from Fayetteville, Arkansas, a couple times a month to see my boyfriend, and so that adds an extra 4 hours of I can't cross stitch. And I mean, I listen to a lot of things. I listen to books more often than that, and in general. So, but I really enjoyed that. I do have a few more things coming from Hall, from Needlework Expo, a few other patterns and stuff from like Fire Poppies, and I think I placed an order somewhere else too. So there's that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you this time, buddies. No, we're not doing that. But anyway, okay. So, enjoy your stitching and have a good one. Bye.